The 819th edition of the MMA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Underdog just launched their new ladders game where you can win up to 500 times your entry. Plus, when you use promo code MMA SGPN, you can get up to $1,000 in bonus cash. Check that out at UnderdogFantasy.com. And once again, use promo code MMA SGPN.
Howdy ho, Generinos. Welcome to the MMA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. We're up to episode 819, I believe, by my math. Dedicating this one to, what's his name? I'm sorry, I'm disrespecting him just like Gumby did. Anthony Garasio, a fighter who, CFFC fighter who's called Gumby out for betting against him. So
he called me out for my breakdown, not just for picking against him. He said that
did it look like Roy Nelson at the end of his career throwing just that one overhand? LOL. Bad bet. You got to bet on me always. Oh, yep. You're the one that said the Roy Nelson thing in the breakdown, right?
I did, yeah. And to be fair, I'd seen one of his fights before, and he had just loaded up on that overhand right, and then he did not do that in winning the CFFC title. So we're gonna be seeing a little bit more of him.
Yes, maybe you can be friends with him like you are with.
Yeah, but when I picked Stephen Asplin, I picked him. He was happy about it.
Right.
He was just mad that I called him a sloppy fatty one time.
Imagine that. We'll see if there's any sloppy fatties today's episode. I am other than the two hosts here. I am Lil Camster, Jeff Fox. That is Daniel McGrillen. We're completing the LFA sandwich with another slice of PFL bread today. PFL Europe 1:2025 regular season, because the PFL knows how to name things. We did PFL MENA 1:2025 regular season a couple of days ago. LFA yesterday. Now PFL Europe today. Apparently there's a tournament going down, right? 155. Is it just 155? Do you know anything about this
35ers too?
Yeah, not on this card, but maybe. Okay. And they win like $100,000 or something, right?
In theory, should get an invite.
What's their name? Only if they're Dakota Decheva. And now,
yeah. Well, I think that was always the plan, is to invite all of the winners, and that way it just kept being fresh. But the problem is that then they bought Bellator.
Yes. Yeah. PFL is going to PFL. So anyhow, we have a 155 feature about in the main event as well. This is PFL Europe 1, as I said, going down in Belfast, Northern Ireland on May the 10th. That would be Saturday, which is good because we just broke down a couple of Friday events for you. You can get this one in your orifices before the UFC from Montreal kicks off. Pay-per-view kicks off this weekend. This one is at noon on Saturday. Wherever you watch PFL. We tried to figure this out last time. It didn't for PFL MENA. It wants me to buy the Zone to watch it in Canada, which good luck with that. It didn't tell how you Americans should watch it. Let's see if the PFL website knows how Americans should watch the Europe event. What do you think?
I'm quite sure they don't.
Let me see. PFL Europe, it wants me to always says I can watch it on YouTube, which I will do. Maybe I'll actually watch it if it's free on YouTube. That sounds good. How about for Americans? Does it are Americans allowed to watch this event? Let's see. They have every country in the world listed, which is always convenient. United States. It says YouTube for you guys as well. So there you go. It's free. No excuse for us not to watch PFL on this coming Saturday. All right. Before we dive into the winning plays for you, let me remind you, if you could do us a favor, if you haven't already, support SGPN's free content by taking a second to give us 5 stars and subscribe wherever you're consuming our content here. All right, let's start breaking down the winning fights on this card. Belfast, Northern Ireland in the SSE Arena, noon Eastern, as I said, on Saturday. We got 11 fights. We're breaking down pretty much half of them in full, and Gumby will give you his bonus plays that we like to call the lightning round at the end of the episode here. So you got to stick around to the end. Don't scrub till the end. Stick around. Listen to all we have to say before then. All right, we are starting off with one of the as my voice cracks, one of the aforementioned lightweight tournament bouts. Decky, McAleenan, which is a very Irish name. Decky. I think it's Declan, but he goes by Decky, Decky. He's fighting Gino Van Steenis. Is he from the famous Van Steenis family, Gumby? From the Netherlands?
He's Costello's brother, right?
Okay.
Is it Costello Van Steenis that I'm remembering? It's the other one who's nasty. Yeah.
Yep.
He's not his brother.
Odds yet. He's not his. Oh wait, We'll find out why very shortly. This is no odds yet. They shall be dropping. Today is Tuesday, probably within the next day or two, you would hope. Hopefully at mybookie.ag, because that's where you want to go. All right, we'll tell you about Van Steenis first. The Ghost Assassin, 5-1, 2 knockouts, 1 submission. Never been finished in a fight. This is his PFL debut. He won his last bout. He's a regional champion. He used to fight at 170, 0-1 in pro kickboxing, 7 years younger than McAleenan. He's got an interesting name. McAleenan. All right. 9-5-1, 4 knockouts, 4 submissions. He's been knocked out once, submitted twice. This is his debut. He's won 2 straight. Before that, he lost 2 straight. Both of his fights via finish. April 2024 was his last fight. He's not lost since March 2022. Multi-regional championships on his. Yeah, correct. Get the shirt, get a gear, get a merch, sportsgamblingpockets.com/store. I'm going to say that a lot this episode. Warning in advance. I used to fight at 145, 2015 pro MMA debut.
I think Van Steenis is going to be a big favorite. We'll say like -250. You can get probably like +220 on the McAleenan side. And I'm going to go with the underdog straight out the gate here. I like Decky McAleenan.
Yep.
Man, that is a tough name. I don't know why it's tough for my American tongue, but it is. But the bottom line is with Decky is that like I think he gets kind of crapped on sometimes because he crashes into range really hard. To the point where you like question whether or not he really understands how to establish range. But at the same time, it's like wildly effective for him because like he scares fighters off, he backs them up. Then like if he can get you up against the cage, man, does he piece you up? And it's just that like overly aggressive factor that I really like about him. And it seems to play up in like he's been taken down before. He gets up, he's got good cardio. I like all those aspects of him. And then when you watch Van Steenis, again, he's not his brother. He doesn't have the grappling chops as he does. He's also just like, he's so freaking patient. Like he just does not want to open up and let things go. And as a result, when he doesn't do that, you know, he winds up finding himself behind on the cards and like needing to do some work to catch up. And against Decky, I mean, I think Decky is going to be in his face all the time. And I don't know if Van Steenis is going to have the counters that he's going to need to tag him. And if he doesn't, like he's just going to be behind on the cards and possibly getting backed up. And then I think McAleenan can really piece him up against the cage if he gets him to that point. So I'm going to go with Decky McAleenan. And I think that he's going to be a big underdog.
You got it. You're saying McAleenan much easier now, which is good.
Yeah, I got there. I got there.
Took a bet. Usually he's there immediately, but he pulled a Jeff. Sometimes these things happen in MMA podcasting. All right, we're sticking with the tournament, 155. Claudio Pacella. He's from Ireland as well. Imagine that.
Well, no, wrong fight. We're not.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, there's. This is a fight card where everyone's named Hughes as well, ladies and gentlemen. So it can get confusing. No, we are not doing that fight. We are doing. We're up another fight. Mark,
that one will come up in my lightning round. You can check that one.
I don't want to give it out early, then, do I? Mark Ewen. He is from Scotland. He is in this tournament as well. He's fighting Aleksandr Chizov. He is from, I think, Latvia when I checked. Yes, yep. Latvia. And that means 3 5-minute rounds, 155. Let's tell you about Chizov first. He's pretty boy. 10-3, 6 knockouts, 3 submissions. He's been knocked out once, submitted once, 1-2 in PFL. He's lost 2 straight. Before that, he won 7 straight. Sub loss in his last bout. He's not won since August 2022. Multiple regional championships on his. Mantle. Correct. Get the shirt, get a gear, get a merch, sportsgamblingpockets.com/store. Used to fight at 170. He's a pro grappler as well. An inch of reach over Ewen. Ewen is 6-1, 4 knockouts, 2 submissions. He's finished everyone. He himself has never been finished, yet he still has his rounds. He is 1-1 in PFL. He won his last bout via submission. He went 1-0 in Bellator, RIP Bellator. All right, all you.
McEwen, like -275 favorite. And I'm going to pick him here. You see a name like Chizov, you expect him to be really good at wrestling, and I don't think he's that good at wrestling. I saw some takedowns, and I was like, man, I expected this to be better. And then on the feet, like he is actually much better on the feet, maybe than he is even on the takedowns. He's got some like nice combinations. He throws a pretty simple 1-2 that lands, but like Ewen is just way, way, way faster. And then the other thing is Ewen is like really great at establishing range, particularly by kicks and feints. He used a lot of feints to get his opponent exactly where he wants him. And then he is like kind of a sniper on the feet when it comes down to it. Like, I really think Mark Ewen, he is a really promising dude. It's too bad he's locked up in PFL. Like, this dude would be fun to see on Contender Series. Like the way he snipes, the way he moves around, he's really exciting. And I think against the guy who can't take him down, he's going to have advantages almost over just about anybody who can't take him down in this tournament. I'm going to say he has an advantage over almost everybody who can't take him down in this tournament. And so in this one, I think he won't get taken down. I think he'll piece up Chizov on the feet. And I think you'll see some pretty impressive stuff.
All right. Looking forward to it. All right. Before we dive into more picks, let me tell you about Edge Boost. Edge Boost is the first ever bank account built for bettors, ensuring all gambling transactions are approved. No usage fees, no minimums, earn cashback rewards, and 100% approval for all betting deposits. Sign up today at edgeboost.bet with our promo code SGPN. Deposit $25 and Edge Boost will match the deposit. That's edgeboost.bet, promo code SGPN. And we're brought to you by the aforementioned MyBookie.ag. MyBookie is your place to bet on every sport, including the NBA playoffs, plus props for every game for the true degens, the MyBookie money bag, where you get a random future bet. MyBookie accepts customers from a ton of locations, easy deposits, and lightning fast payouts using crypto. Check out the Al Horford prop plays there. Gumby likes his 3-point lines, like as per usual. And when you do head to MyBookie.ag, use our promo code MMASGPN for 100% deposit match up to $1,000. Terms and conditions apply. That's MyBookie.ag, promo code MMASGPN. All right, let's get you some more winning picks. Let's get another Hughes fight, shall we? None of these Hughes are related either, I don't think, right? They're all from different countries.
I don't believe so. No.
Connor Hughes, he's from England. Sebastien de Franco, decidedly not from England. He is from Belgium. 3 5-minute rounds. They are in the tournament as well, 155. DeFranco, 10-3. 2 knockouts, 3 submissions. He's been submitted twice. This is his debut. Lost over his last 3. 6-2 over his last 8. Used to fight at 145. Hughes is 10-2. 4 knockouts, 4 submissions. He's been knocked out once. 3-2 in PFL. He's won 3 of 4, but he did get TK'd in his last bout. 3 years younger than DeFranco, an inch taller.
I think Hughes is going to be a massive favorite here, maybe like negative 350. And I'm going to take a swing on DeFranco here. I think like plus 300 underdog here, and he wins this fight more than 1 out of every 4 times, in my opinion. And he might win it in a coin flip. If you were holding a gun to my head and I had to pick a winner, I don't know that I wouldn't take DeFranco. I watched his last fight. He fought this undefeated Russian prospect, real tough dude. And DeFranco was piecing him up on the start. He was landing leg kicks, looking real tough. He actually scored his own takedown, and he was in the advantageous position. Ultimately, like, he kind of tired out a little bit, having that kind of like grueling level fight, and lost a close decision. But like, he looked pretty damn good doing it up until that point. And with Connor Hughes, like, he kind of went in there and just like got crazy against Jacob Kashuba because he was in the finals of the tournament last year against Jacob Kashuba, who's not in the tournament this year. Whatever happened to that guy? He won 2 in a row, and where'd he go? Maybe he's in the PFL Super Fight.
God, yes.
Because we need another entity.
Yes,
PFL.
we sure do.
So yeah, like, Hughes was in that fight. It turned into kind of a slog, and he gassed out. Kashuba started manhandling him and pushing him around. And it was only like a round and a half long. And so for that, I'm a little bit worried that that's what DeFranco is going to do to him. I saw DeFranco take down a guy who, looked like he had some pretty high level wrestling, a Russian regional prospect at like 7-0 or something like that. And DeFranco went in there and fought with him. So, I think he could possibly do that to Hughes. I like the leg kicks. I like that he doesn't overextend himself and tire out that way. Because it does seem like Hughes is just like on the verge of gassing at all times, because he's throwing haymakers constantly, which we're going to talk about another guy in a second who loves a good haymaker. And like, I don't know that that's good enough against DeFranco. So I'm going to take a stab here on a big underdog. Most likely, give me Sebastien DeFranco.
Who doesn't love a good haymaker, Gumby?
Right. I like guys who throw Roy Nelson looking over him. Right. It's funny. I did say that disparagingly. Yep. I don't mean to keep referring to this. I love Roy Nelson. I've always loved Roy Nelson. This is a Roy Nelson autographed glove right here. I'm not kidding you. It says to Dan Roy Nelson right there. And I keep it behind me. I love Roy Nelson, so it was disparaging, but it also wasn't disparaging.
Well, maybe someday you have an Anthony Gracio signed glove behind you as well. All right, we're to our co-main event. Lewis McGrillen-Evans, who we talked about before, because who could forget that name? He's from England. Alan Philpott from Northern Ireland. So he's going to have the hometown fans on his side. You would think 3 5-minute rounds, 135. So this is not a tournament fight. Actually, the top 2 fights are not in the tournament for 155 pounds. So I'll tell you about Philpott first. Super Ali is his nickname. As I punch my microphone, Super Ali. 21-16 with 1 no contest, 5 knockouts, 9 submissions. He's been knocked out once, submitted 14 times. Is that correct, Gumby? Has he really been submitted 14 times, or is that a typo on my end?
That sounds correct.
All right.
Yeah.
I think I just typed that in there without even realizing how absurd that is. All right. This is his PFL debut. Win over his last 3, 2-5 over his last 7. He won his last bout via TKO. He also has multiple regional championships on his. Correct. Man. Go to our merch store at sportsgamblingpockets.com/store. He went 2-2 and 1 championship, the biggest promotion in the world. He used to fight at 145, 2011 pro MMA debut, 2-inch height over McGrillen-Evans. McGrillen-Evans is the McGrizzla, is the nickname. I remember
I forgot about that.
I remember we riffed on that, how that should be like a McDonald's menu item, I believe.
The McGrizzla.
Yeah, the McGrizzla.
You can get a McGrizzla and hash browns for $4.99.
You probably can in England. You know how each region has different delicacies. All right, the McGrizzla, I think is more of probably a breakfast type thing, right? It sounds like
that's why I said hash browns.
Yeah, exactly.
It feels like a breakfast.
Yeah. All right, he's 11-1 with 10 knockouts. This McGrillen-Evans fella, he'd never been finishing a fight. 5-1 in PFL. He's the PFL European champion. Here he is again. Still here. He's won 3 straight, the last 2 via TKO. He was regional champ. He's fight at 125, 8 years younger than Philpott.
I just looked down to my notes, which I keep right here beside me. If anybody's ever wondering why I'm looking to my left, and then it's all paper. And then my number 1 note on there is sick mullet.
Explain.
Because the McGrizzla has a sick mullet. Yeah, that's all you need to know. So I think the McGrizzla, I'm gonna keep calling him just that instead of actually.
Could you go to a barber shop and say, "Give me the McGrizzla, please," and they'll know? Sick mullet.
I don't think you could, but I would appreciate it. If you
maybe
could.
Someday.
I wouldn't personally get it. No, mullets came back, huh? Like, I don't mean to sound like an old head here, but like
everything does. If you wait
I feel like enough. When I feel like I was a kid, I feel like somebody had a mullet and it was like ironic. Yes. And now they're just like they're here,
like mustaches.
Shout out, post something in the comments if you're listening to this and have a mullet.
Please.
Anyway, just say like Gumby rules. I have a mullet. The McGrizzla, probably negative 400 favorite. He's gonna run through Philpott here. Philpott, I mean, my issues with him are pretty obvious. Like, he is a guy who's got tons of wear and tear on the tires, right? You said he had 30 something
28 to be exact.
Yeah, and basically a 500 record. It's not great looking, and it's just because does he have natural gifts? Yes, he blitzes sometimes, and it looks like he's got some power in his hands. It looks like he can wrestle a little bit, but he just does nothing defensively correct. Like, if somebody's shooting a takedown, he'll grab around your waist instead of looking for the underhooks, or he'll try to push your head down, but will push to the wrong spot. He has no head pressure when he's going for his own takedown. And McGrillen-Evans is first of all, he's a freaking wild man. This is another guy, like I was just saying with Connor Hughes, who does not conserve any energy, but for some reason it looks like he's got twice as much as Hughes anyway. Maybe it's being lighter, maybe it's being a bantamweight that he can just turn it up and have it on all the time. But this guy just keeps shooting takedowns, throwing big punches, combinations, working to the body, going to the clinch, dirty box, and it's so much energy. And when you look at Philpott, a guy who sort of needs to slow things down and then still doesn't do things right, then you're going to have to speed it up on him. It's going to go badly for him. So I'll take Lewis McGrillen-Evans. I'm going to say the McGrizzla is a good parlay piece. I'm not a big fan of the negative 400 straight up play anyway, but it's probably a good parlay piece.
All right, McGrizzla locked in. All right, before we dive into the main event and lightning round, It's time for Gumby's bonus underdog pick and play for us. Underdog just launched their new game called Ladders. Went up to 500 times watching your favorite players climb the ladder. All right, Gumby, what's your play for today?
I'm going to go to baseball on Tuesday, which is when you should be getting this one in your ear. Houston is at Milwaukee, and Hayden Wisniewski is going to be on the bump. And look, his last game, he only struck out one guy. Okay. It's not pretty when you only get one strikeout. But before that, he had tallied 4 and 10 in his 2 games prior. And I really do believe in his strikeout stuff. And I think in this one, we're going to get that projection to have creeped down a little bit. He was higher than 4.5 in all of his first 3 games. He's been lower than that in the last 2. I'm looking for a bounce back spot from Wisniewski. So give me Hayden Wisniewski's higher than on his strikeouts.
All right, take that and take your code MMASGPN. Take it over to underdogfantasy.com. That way you get to claim your special pick and first-time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus credits. So underdogfantasy.com, promo code MMASGPN. And Rhythm, RITHMM. Rhythm is your home for AI-backed picks and props. Dominate the NBA playoffs and MLB prop market with Rhythm. Building your own model is simple and easy. Rhythm knows you'll love it. That's why they include a 7-day free trial. Check out the Al Horford plays, and Rhythm has some amazing deals going on right now. 25% off monthly subscription with promo code SGPN25 and 50% off annual subscription with promo code SGPN50. That's RITHMM, promo code SGPN25 or SGPN50, and get your 7-day free trial today at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. All right, Gumbo, you ready for the main event?
You used to call me Gumbo all the time. I don't know what happened.
No, I don't know what happened either. I got over it. I guess you don't hang out in that part of America anymore either. That was when you were young. You were a Gumbo, right?
Yeah.
Southern
big Gumbo guy.
Louisiana boy. All right, main event is a gentleman that you may have heard of named Hughes. Imagine that. Paul Hughes. He's from Ireland. He's fighting Bruno Miranda from Brazil. 3 500 rounds and 155. Let's break it down. Telling you about Miranda first. He is Robusto, which translates to robust. I like Robusto better. Robusto is a great name. 17-5, 9 knockouts, 2 submissions. He's been knocked out twice, submitted 3 times, so he's been finishing all his losses. 4-2 in PFL, 1-2 over his last 3, 8-2 over his last 10. He did win his last belt, though. He missed weight, though, I think fairly recently. 0-2 as a pro kickboxer. Big news, Paul Hughes. It rhymes. Get it?
Big news or bad news? It's big news?
I have big news listed. I thought big news doesn't sound right. All right, we're checking. We're going back into.
No, maybe you're right because I feel like I've questioned this before. Where
big news.
Big news.
Big news. Bad news for his opponents. Big news for his fans. Big news. Paul Hughes is fighting 13-2, 6 knockouts, 3 submissions. He's never been finishing a fight. 1-1 in PFL. He's won 7 of 8. He did lose his last bout though. He went 1-0 in Bellator. RIP. He was a Cage Warriors champion. He also has multiple regional championships on his
mantle.
Correct. Get our shirt, get our merch, get our gear, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/store. Get Decky. He's fed at 145, 7 years younger than Mr. Robusto Miranda.
It's got to be -1,000 Paul Hughes.
-1,000 Paul Hughes.
I mean, he's coming off that fight with Usman or Magomedov. That arguably you could have made an argument that he won, right? Like they took a point from Usman, and I was like, I think this is at least a draw because he won, in my opinion, 2 out of 5 rounds. And possibly could have stole a third one for the victory. I was like, there's no way he gets anything less than a draw. For some reason, 2 judges found a way to give 4 rounds to Usman. Yeah. 1 judge had it a draw. We went to majority. But that's against Usman or Magomedov, right? And then we got Miranda here who had trouble with Olivier Aubin-Mercier's hands. And I'm not trying to crap on OAM.
Hey, watch yourself.
Yeah, no. This is an OAM friendly podcast right now. I love OAM.
Definitely.
But what was OAM good at? Was it his boxing? No. It was his grappling and his jiu-jitsu and his top control and his relentlessness. And Hughes is relentless too, but Hughes is relentless and is going to sleep you with his hands. And I just think that's a nightmare for Miranda. So Paul Hughes probably completely out of the playable realm and probably won't even make your parlays better. Paul Hughes is the play here.
99% of the tapologers.
I can't believe there's a 1% on Miranda.
Apparently, Bruno Miranda's
that's Bruno Miranda's mom, 100%.
Yeah, or Bruno Miranda himself, possibly. All right, let's give you a recap before we get to the lightning round. He's got big news, Hughes. Bad news for Mr. Robusto. McGrillen-Evans,
The McGrizzla.
the McGrizzla, we call him. DeFranco, Ewen, that's one I didn't see there, and McAleenan. It's hard again. McAleenan. Say it, Gumby.
McAleenan.
Hey, there you go. It sounds like you're
I
stuttering.
tripped over that too.
All right, lightning round. Zap, bam, boom, pow. I almost gave away one of them on you box, I think, right?
Yeah, Claudio Pasella. Look, he's in the other lightweight fight. Feels wrong not giving all the fights. Maybe I should have skipped the McGrizzla, but I can't skip the McGrizzla.
No.
I like Pasella. He looked really good. He fought Mark Ewen I don't know if it was last year in the tournament or last year in a featured fight. And Ewen came out on top. But Pasella looked pretty damn good in that fight and gave maybe Ewen a better stand-up fight than just about anybody had. So I really like him. And then the other one I'm going to go is with Sammy Jo Luxon. She's like a halfway decent boxer. And I'm positive PFL is trying to build her up because she's like a social media influencer and whatnot.
Oh, great.
And they would love for her to be popular and famous. So she's getting a good matchup. And she also has shown signs of she's figuring out the boxing to some extent in MMA. She looks like is starting to learn how to put the different pieces of MMA together. And actually she's got you think the McGrizzla is a good nickname in big news. Do you know what her nickname is?
No. Why would I know?
She's the ghetto Cinderella.
Oh God. Have we talked about her before?
I don't know.
Vaguely familiar.
She's the ghetto Cinderella, and it fucking rules.
God.
So yeah, Sammy Jo Luxon and Claudio Pasella are my 2 lightning round picks.
And there, she does not look like she's from any ghetto of any.
No, I don't know. I don't know how she got that nickname.
Yeah, ghetto in England. I'm sure there's ghettos there, but okay, maybe they all look like Cinderella in the ghetto in England. Not saying what you're supposed to look like when you're from the ghetto. She just looks too put together to be a poor person. But anyhow, the ghetto Cinderella is a good nickname. All right, you're all set. Ladies and gentlemen, you can get more intel or bad jokes from me or whatever you're looking for at our Discord, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord. On the old Twitter is SGPN MMA. He's at Gumby Vreeland. I'm at Jeff Fox Writer there and on Instagram. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube if you've not already at MMA Gambling Podcast, and you can subscribe and complain if Gumby compares you to Roy Nelson. But really, it's a compliment if he does. Gumby's got a Top Turtle MMA podcast where he's interviewing a couple of people with big fights coming up.
Yeah, Iman Zahabi, who's fighting Jose Aldo this weekend, and Modestas Bukauskas fighting Ion Kudalaba.
So yeah, that's actually big fights for both guys, really.
Yeah, and Modi's won 4 out of 5 fights too since coming back to the UFC. That's a big one.
Correct. So check that out. And we are at sportsgamblingpodcast.com. All our writing, all our podcasts, all the good stuff's there. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/store to get your merch. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon to get bonus content. And I think it's my turn to bid you farewell. We're going to be back tomorrow. UFC is running a pay-per-view this week in my home country, Montreal. So we are going to dive into the prelims tomorrow, the main card the next day. All right. That'll be tomorrow. Until then, Robusto Fox bids you farewell, as does Super Ali Vreeland. We'll talk to you then.